Well, hi there. My name is John Harrell. I work for Ministry Incubators with the Western North Carolina Conference, the United Methodist Church, and it is my joy today to be talking with Dawn Lynch in Mooresville, North Carolina. Dawn, what a joy to speak with you today.
Thanks, John. It's great to be here with you.
Yeah. And Dawn is doing an installment in our conversation series around people who are doing innovative ministry in North Carolina, and very graciously agreed to share with us a little bit about community yoga. So Dawn, thanks again for your time, and would love for you just to tell us a little bit about community yoga and what you all do and how it started.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks again for asking me to be here. I love working with fresh expressions and talking about them. And yoga is one of my passions. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak about it. I work with West Church in the Lake Norman area of Mooresville, North Carolina, and we host a community program called Community Yoga, and it formed in 2007 kind of by accident. We were looking for some fun opportunities to do during a summer small group series, and yoga was one of the 7 things we offered during the summer, and it was just very highly attended, and people were like, can we do this more? And there were a lot of community people, so there was a lot of reach outside the walls of the church, and we just thought that was really cool. So we said, yeah, we would love to do this some more, and just kind of started exploring some different opportunities there. So, and then in the mix of all that time, I was being trained in fresh expressions with the conference, and that kind of that listening being that first key. And we were in the community listening to the people, and it just kind of organically formed and grew from there. And then on to the next step, the loving and serving. So we heard the need of the community, and we said, okay, how can we love and serve the people here? And that was informing an ongoing, we started offering yoga once a month in the beginning, just to see if it was really something people were going to come to and attend. And it was, and it just kind of grew from there. We grew and established new community partners. So about 4 months later, we started meeting twice a week versus monthly. And by June of 2019, we started meeting weekly. And it was really cool to see how that community really started building community within itself. And the people that came regularly got to know each other. They were excited to invite their friends. And because I was being trained in fresh expressions, we kind of had that background and knowledge to be able to reach out and say, okay, what do we do here? This is happening. What's next? So that was great. And the conference is great and willing to work with anybody who's trying new things, and a great resource to lean on when you're trying something new. Yeah.
And then so you got some terrific momentum on that, and then the world exploded. Coronavirus happened, but you all found some really terrific ways to stay engaged with the people that you're serving in the midst of the pandemic. Can you talk a little bit about that too?
Yeah, sure. It's like the pandemic hit, and we're like, okay, nobody really knew for how long this was going to last or what to do. But luckily, we have an amazing senior pastor, Andrea Smith, and she knew that we need to pivot, and we need to pivot quickly. So that's what we did as a church staff, and that's what we tried to do in all of our ministry areas. And some of them worked out, and some of them failed. But at West, we kind of have a motto: if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. So we don't fear failure. We actually expect it. At our staff meetings, we give a prize for the biggest failure of the week, kind of creating that culture that it's okay to try things and not succeed, just keep trying. So that was really cool to have that support from my home church, and just knowing that when you're trying something new, you never know, but God meets you in that never know, and it can turn out really great in reaching, unchurched people in the community. So we started offering, it was about fall. We started offering outdoor yoga during the pandemic, and that was great. It was a way, not everybody was willing to get together, and we understood that and expected that, as times were just uncertain for everybody. But there were a large part of the community, probably 14 to 16 on average weekly, that really did need that space and that community and support during that time. So it was really cool that a sister church down the road lent us their pavilion. West is a mobile church, so we didn't have a space, and our community partner had shut down, unfortunately, during the pandemic. A lot of businesses weren't able to open. So that was a really cool way that we were able to pivot and kind of support the community that was able to get out safely.
Absolutely. And I think of people who are thinking about starting something new and they just feel all the risk for failure. And what you said about, the award for the biggest failure of the week. And if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. That's so invigorating, because it seems like there's permission to do things the wrong way in the pursuit of something bigger and even better. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you say to someone who's watching this interview, who's listening to this amazing ministry that y'all have put out there and even pivoted during the midst of the pandemic and thinking, golly, I'd like to start something, but I just don't know where to begin, or I'm not sure my idea has staying power. How would you encourage somebody who's thinking along those lines right now?
Well, I would encourage them to pray for their community first. That's kind of the underlining of the discipleship model of all Fresh Expressions. And then to allow themselves to dream big and listen. Just go for prayer walks. Get out in your community. Meet your community partners. Who are your business owners? Just talking to people and having that underlined prayer, and then listening, because truly, like, you will hear people's needs, and God intersects and does amazing things, and really cool things can be born out of that. So yeah, just definitely be willing to listen and kind of explore your community with an open mind.
Well, Dawn, thanks again for your time today. What a joy to get to talk to you. And thanks again for sharing your story and the story of community yoga with us who are watching. And if somebody wanted to find out more about community yoga, how would they go about doing that?
Yes, they can go to headingwest.org, or they can find the community yoga page on Facebook.
All right. Well, I'm talking with Dawn Lynch of Mooresville, North Carolina today. And thanks again, Dawn. My name is John Harrell. I'm with Ministry Incubators at ministryincubators.com. You can also find out more about the conference's innovation efforts at wnccumc.org/innovation. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.